In this video, we're going to trick out our Dillon XL750 with some awesome upgrades from Armanov. Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. What you see here are some of the upgrades and accessories that Armanov produces for the XL650 and XL750 series of presses from Dillon Precision. There are some specific differences between the two presses. In fact, I have a very detailed video that outlines all of those differences. The biggest difference is the priming system. The XL650 has what I call the telephone dial priming system, whereas the XL750 has a sliding bar priming system. There are definitely a bunch of other little things, but what's cool about this collection of accessories is these are easy to bolt on accessories that all have very specific purposes. And in this video, I'm going to focus more on the functionality than detailed installation steps, because Armanov has detailed instructions for these products that you'll find on their website. Now, if you go to that first link in the video description, I'll have a complete listing with product page links for each of these parts and accessories. Okay, so I kind of have these broken down by area. Starting with the powder measure. Okay, so all of these parts are going to enhance the powder measure. We've got things like enhanced funnels. I have one here for 9mm and one for 300 blackout. We've got a powder baffle that enhances the baffle characteristics for precision, but also gives you a visual indicator when you need to fill your powder measure. This right here, this is called the quick disconnect. I'm pretty excited about this. This gives you a little tab to pull on to pop off the powder measure instead of having to loosen the screws almost to the point where they fall out in order to pull the bracket back and lift it off. Sometimes these small things can make a big difference. And then we've also got these powder knobs for the small powder bar and for the large powder bar, and that's where Armanov kind of has differentiation here, is that they make these for both small and large bars, which is awesome. So if we're loading pistol or loading rifle, we'll be able to use these parts here. And what I've done is some of the parts here for the 650 I have still in the bag, and I have these that we're going to use in this video out of the bag. Okay, and then we have the tool heads. So Armanov makes really nice anodized tool heads. They look awesome. They're ultra precision machined. They're numbered, which is cool to have the station numbers on there. And then they also have these tapped holes, which work with their floating die lock rings, which we're going to cover in detail in the next video. So tool heads, and then we have indexing. So this is new, the aluminum ring indexer, and this is going to replace the plastic part on the press for enhanced action. And then we have this index bearing cam block, and this does a couple things. So this has a nice ball bearing on it, and then it also has an adjustable primer depth stop, which you can see, this Allen screw right here, and it's locked in by this screw over here, which clamps it and prevents it from rotating. So this is going to enhance the indexing on the XL750, and it's also going to provide us with new functionality, that adjustable primer depth stop. Now, this one in this blister pack here is for the 650, so I'll probably do that in another video when we get that out. Okay, in terms of case feed, we've got the universal mirror kit for Dillon case feeders, and in this way we're going to be able to see how many cases we have in the case feed bowl. That's pretty cool. And then we have the case feed stop. This is for the 650 and 750, and this is going to allow us to turn off case feed without emptying the system, so that we could troubleshoot, so that we could run the stations down, that kind of thing. So that also is very helpful. And then we have this bullet tray, which is going to provide quite a bit of capacity for bullets beside the press. And then also this ball bearing roller handle addition for the press handle. Okay. So this is some of the stuff that's available for the XL650 and the XL750. Next, I'm going to go through each of these accessories and parts and put them on the press. Okay, so I got some tools out, and what I'm thinking for strategy is I'm going to get down to the heart of the press first. Get all that core activity done with the aluminum ring indexer and the index bearing cam block and primer depth adjustment. I have a KMS squared UFO press light on the press, and that's gonna really help eliminate things. So I'm gonna take off the tool head and powder measure, take the primers out. I know I have to swap springs for powder slider, and then we'll get into the core of the press and swap some parts out, and then I'll give you an update as I finish. Okay, so this turned out to be just a little bit easier than I thought it would be. The aluminum ring indexer and the index bearing cam block are easily replaced by removing the priming slider bar. I just took the entire stack off, and then removing the shell plate. There's 2 screws that hold the sub plate down, the plate that the shell plate rides on. When you get that up, the plastic part, the ring indexer that Dillon provides, basically can pop off. And then there's 2 screws that hold the index bearing cam block. I want to make sure I get these names correct to the product page. They hold that on. Now there's a left and a right adjustment here for the indexing, and then we also have the height of the stop screw for the primer depth. And what I'm going to do is, so far it looks like we're indexing perfectly. And then when we get to setting up our actual load with the dies, running brass through the press, we'll do a fine tuning of our depth for the priming. So really not bad at all. There's a spring that goes around that pulls the ring indexer back and forth. There's the indexing pawl with a little spring under it. And then there's the priming parts, but it's probably about a 10-minute job, maybe 15 if you're going slow, so not bad. All right, next let's look at powder measure upgrades, starting with the knob. So this is very straightforward. You've got the bracket here, and there's a little set screw on the side that we're gonna tighten down against the powder bar body, kind of on the end here, like that. And then we've got another set screw on the other side of the knob here. If you look in here, there's a recess basically of the hex pattern here. So we're going to put that against one of the flats of the screw on the end of the powder bar. And what I like to do when I'm tightening these sorts of things is we'll wait until it contacts, and then we'll kind of shake it a little bit to make sure that we're down onto that flat there. Very nice, look at that, huh? Oh, we only have clicks some part of the way around. Maybe we need to get this. Okay. Does it have to go more flush against it? Okay, so I just tightened the bracket against the knob body, and that fixed our issue there with the detents. So how cool is that? Looks like we have 50 clicks per revolution. It's going to help us keep track of our powder adjustments and do fine tuning. Powder baffle, we're just going to drop in. There we go, that was easy. Okay, and then we've got the quick disconnect. So 5/32, same there. Remove these screws. Should not need this bracket there. Okay. And we'll be able to fine tune that adjustment when we get it on there. Look at that, huh? How cool is that? I like that a lot. Okay, So I'm gonna put the powder measure back on the press. We need the tool head for that. I'm gonna get that real quick. We're actually gonna use a different tool head, the Armanov one. I just wanna kind of see how this is gonna work. Give this a little bit of a try here. Just to make sure that we like how this is working. Pull that. How cool is that? Look at that. And we just pull this, holds it tight. Real quick actuation. Looks like we could go in on those screws just a little bit. It actually has a lot of movement, which is great. Okay. Okay, there we go. I think it might help if we get these below flush. Okay, I'm just tightening the screws here until they go in to where they're partially into the housing of the quick disconnect there. Ah, that's exactly what I was looking for. Okay. Nice, smooth actuation, and as you can see, it's holding that fast. Good stuff. Okay, let's tackle the roller handle. I'm gonna take the ball off here. Okay. Grab a towel because I need to apply some thread locker to the threads. This could get just a touch messy. I've got this little vial here. Come on, there we go. That should be good. I'm gonna save the rest of that. And then we screw on the handle. And this we want to tighten pretty well. And there's a through hole on the handle from Dillon. Get this lined up so that I can basically cinch that down really well. And then we're gonna go with our wrench, kind of tighten together. But we need to properly clock this. Okay. So here's the strategy. We're gonna tighten with the wrench, and then we're gonna index kind of at the same time. How's that looking? Okay. Ooh, nice. Good to go. Okay, next let's install the bullet tray, starting with the bracket. Okay, so I got the bracket mounted, and it uses this bolt position here to mount down to essentially the top of the flange of the base of the press. And I had to tip up my inline fabrication quick change top plate so that I could get access to the screw head from the bottom. Got that tightened down, no problem. I was able to use the same screw, which is great. So it looks like this is going to mount like so, and this is going to keep our bullets kind of collated down to the bottom here, flowing down to the bottom so that we can pick them up as we're loading. So I've got an appropriate Allen key, and I've got the appropriate screws. Get these tightened down. We'll check that out. Our bullet tray is installed. So the case feed stop is rather simple. First off, it stows right here on the case drop tube, which is cool. And when you want to stop the feed of cases, this little curved portion here, we're going to actuate the position where it's going to drop the case onto the slider and then just slip it in right here. And it's going to prevent that swinging arm from going back in and picking up another case. Pretty simple. Okay, time for the case feeder mirror. So the mirror itself has a socket on the back, and then we've got a ball on the articulating mount. So I'm just going to, actually it looks like we back this off, pop it in. Now we can tension that. Okay, that's how that works. That's easy enough. A little bit more tension. There we go, perfect. And then this is just going to set right up here, and I can aim it. Oh, that's perfect. I can see everything absolutely all in one view. Okay, so next let's swap tool heads. We've got the Armanov tool head here. We've got the tool head that we had with our previous 45 ACP setup. Unlike these Dillon tool heads, the Dillon tool heads have pins that fit a little bit loose, and there's a little bit of float for all of the dies, but they can't float independently. So with the Armanov tool head, instead of these pins, we have machine screws. And what this is going to do is it's going to lock down the tool head, and then each of the die stations, if we use the floating die lock rings, are able to float independently. So I think that's kind of cool. We'll get these screws in, and then our tool head will be locked in place. Okay, so I've locked that down. Tool head is solidly on the press. Give me a minute. I'm going to get all of the dies set up. I'm going to get the powder measure set up, and we'll load some ammo. All right, we are loading some 45 ACP full progressive with all these XL750 add-ons from Armanov. Let me load a few rounds to show you kind of how things are working here. Loved having the bullet tray right here next to the bullet seating station. Super convenient. I really like the 750 and the 650 because they just run really reliable. This is new brass. We're not running lube, so I have a little bit of pull out from the expander, but it's really not that bad. And it turned out that our primer seating depth just happened to be right on. And you're gonna wanna check out our ammo checkers video where we talk about all of the different rifle and pistol ammo checkers from Armanov. These are cut to SAMI specifications. So if it goes in this, you know it's gonna go in your chamber, which is exactly what you want. So when I set up the crimp die, I made sure that my rounds were gonna sit flush here in the ammo checker. And there's a lot more here. You can bulk load these. We've got all sorts of instructions in that ammo checker video. So the ammo is good. Let me talk about the load data a little bit here. So we've got CFE-Pistol. I think we're at 5.9 grains. Double check your OEM's load data, your component manufacturer, that kind of thing, before you use this data. We've got Winchester large pistol primers. We've got the Barry's 185s. These are the hollow base round nose. Really like the way that these shoot, and Barry's are good and economical as well. We're at 1.235 inches cartridge overall length. And yeah, things are running good with the setup. I'm really happy with this. In terms of installing and adjusting the dies, like I said, we're gonna have a follow-up video with the floating die lock ring system all up where we'll go into a lot more detail. But these floating die lock rings have a screw that secures them. And what I found to work well for myself is to put them on the die, start the die in, and then crank the lock ring down until it touches, and then back it off until it indexes with the hole that's in the middle of the tool head. Screw that in, it's got a little bit of play. Then you can move your die up and down until you have your flare and your powder charge correct, or your sizer just hitting the shell plate with a tiny bit of cam over. Bullet seating, I used a cartridge that I had loaded previously and then just fine-tuned that, and then the crimp as well. When the setting is correct, then you can just take this cross bolt screw, tighten it down, and that will preserve your setting. Then if we want to take a die out, we just take the screw out and then work it out. It's not even tightened down to the shell plate, so that's a bit of a convenience. And then also we have the ability for the dies to individually float, which will enhance their alignment with the shell casing in that respective station. All right, let's load some ammo. Well, this press is running great, and I really like the upgrades from Armanov for the XL750. So if you have a 650 or a 750, you're going to want to check this out. Like they said, they have ultimate packs for upgrades that you can get as a package with some discounts and savings applied. And this is just a really good machine. So if you have either that 650 or a 750, check these accessories out. If you click on that first link in the video description, we'll have all of the product links, that kind of thing. I got a lot more loading to do, so I'm gonna work on that. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you want to learn lucrative gunsmithing like what I show here on the channel, including building custom rifles and Cerakote plus a whole bunch more, you're going to want to check out the Colorado School of Trades, schooloftrades.edu. Thanks again for watching.